Have I got news for you? Lots of fun. We just saw a clip for it every single Saturday night, 9 Eastern time on CNN. Yes, sir.
I like the show because, as much as I love my time at The Daily Show, I'm not burdened with having to get to the bottom of it or figuring out the solution of it. It's just, let's just crack the joke. There's enough of the shows out there that are solution-minded. We're CNN on a Saturday night. They did not give us a budget for investigative journalism. So
they have not.
We will just crack the jokes. And I think being able to laugh at this stuff, it gives me hope for the world.
Yes.
No matter what,
yes.
I don't know where you are on your hope meter.
It goes up and down. It fluctuates.
Mine's low. Not a lot of hope for society and mankind, Rich Eisen. This is when I lost faith in humans.
When is this?
When the aliens stopped kidnapping us.
How do you know they've stopped kidnapping?
Because who talks about it? Remember the good old days? Remember the 80s and 90s? Every month there was a new person. They took me up there and they grabbed me in the crotch. And now no one, aliens won't even come holler at us, bro. That's how trash we are. We're like last call 2 a.m. and the aliens are still like, nah. Used to be some quality, down on Earth. Not no more.
Now they just don't even want to even kidnap us or maybe they are living amongst us right now. Some of the people are weird.
I guess.
I guess. So it could be that.
I guess. I don't know. We live in a world now where there's so many conspiracy theories that it's hard to get your conspiracy to the front of the line because everybody else is talking about dogs and cats getting eaten or there's lizard people or whatever conspiracy there is. And I hate that too. If you had a good conspiracy, you had to work that joint locally for months and then form you a small cult, build your cult following, get raided by the feds, and then we go, tell us about what you believe. And now you can just go on Reddit, type 3 sentences, and the next thing you know, elected officials are running around spreading the same misinformation. So I don't know. I've lost a lot of faith. I'm happy to be here, though. That's my point.
I appreciate that. I'm assuming you and the rest of your crew on your show text each other throughout the week, similar like we text each other throughout the weekend saying, we got to talk about this Monday. We got to talk about that next time.
Myself, Michael Ian Black, and Amber Ruffin, those are the team captains on the show. And we are on a group chat every single day. Hey, did you see this? Have you heard about this? Have you seen this?
Yes.
And it's interesting because our culturally what we give a damn about, Amber as a black woman, Michael,
is not.
It's 3 totally different worlds of, oh my God, did you see what happened between, did you see that Sexy Red dropped a new song out of a sex spaceship? And Michael Ian Black is like, I'm sorry, is that a sentence? And I'm like, yeah, that was a sentence.
So that's how you actually go ahead and figure out what you guys want to talk about.
To a degree, yeah. I mean, there's a great team of writers. And the show also, it's important to say this, it's a remake of a British show that's been around for 30, 35 years. So they know, the people that had Trip Productions from London, they know how to figure out how to make sense of this is relevant, this isn't relevant. Because what you think is a story on Monday, by the time we get to Friday night when we tape for a Saturday air, it's into the ether. Trump was at McDonald's on Sunday?
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll even mention that by Friday night.
Because there's so much stuff. There's every single news cycle just wipes out the one before.
Unless he goes to a Wendy's or I don't if he just does a whole fast food tour. Do you respect, and this is Trump aside, do you respect any politician that pretends to do a blue collar job in front of a camera for 20 minutes?
No, not if the people who are actually there to be served are not actually customers.
Well, of course, yes.
There's that as well. Like that, it's just a big one act play.
I don't like it. I don't like when the politicians should work a shift. Work a shift, send the cameras away, and let the regular people who come there.
Right.
They'll tell me whether or not you're good.
I got it.
Work degrease night. You ever worked at an Outback Steakhouse? I have.
I have not.
I have for a day and a half.
And how'd that work out for you?
Degreasing. You work the night shift. You don't even see a customer. You come in the Outback. Like a lot of those fast casual spots, they do the deep cleaning of the kitchen after the employees have gone home.
Yes.
So you come in and hazmat CSI and just blooming onion dust is all up in your face. And that's work.
Yeah, I've never worked in a kitchen. I have worked I've been a checkout. No, grocery clerk. I did that double coupon days in Staten Island, New York, and the Wallbaums or Pathmark. People get very, very agitated if you don't give them their double coupon appropriately. Roy,
I've
done
only
that.
worked places where I could steal food. So Subway, Baskin Robbins, no supermarket cameras, people watching. But I'm talking Golden Corral. I can just sneak a chicken wing when nobody's looking. Like you can just have two. Like a lot of those waiters at buffet restaurants. Look in the apron pouch. It's food.
Roy Wood Jr. here on the Rich Eisen Show.
And it's a dish rag. I'm sorry to give away the secrets.
How did you get started in stand-up? When did you first start doing
I was 19, so I was at Florida A&M, and they used to have comedy nights over at Florida State. I would ride up to Birmingham and do open mics and stuff like that. Yeah. So like that was the genesis of it. Me and some buddies were stealing credit cards when I was a teenager. I don't know if you know that it's very illegal. If you
stealing credit cards,
well, if you use a credit card and your name ain't on it, it's frowned upon.
Yes,
there are rules in place in the Constitution against this type of activity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so during that time on probation, I just started doing stand-up while I was in school for journalism. And when I graduated, I just stuck with it.
Yeah.
And like that's where it started, man. I did every weird room in the South. Like you could go to some random hillbilly room and do jokes, and the next night you're performing for Dope Boys, and the next night it's a proper mainstream club, and you're there with Jeff Foxworthy. Jeff Foxworthy's in town working on this hour. We're gonna cut everybody to 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's how you have to deal with that.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean, that's not a shot at Foxworthy. I'm just saying the idea of you get to see legends work, and then the next night you're paid in cocaine. That was the South, and that's me at 19 years old on a Greyhound bus. Mind you, no car.
Greyhound bus.
Oh, bro, I rode the dog my first year of stand-up, just riding the country. Like, when you see America from a Greyhound bus, it's 3 things every American should do.
Yes.
Before you're allowed to vote, you should work food service, you should work outdoors.
Yes.
And you should ride the Greyhound. A lot of people say every American should serve in the military. I don't agree with that because some people are not cut out for combat, and that's not who I want to be next to when the bullets are flying.
Yes, sir.
But degrease night at Outback Steakhouse, everybody should do that.
So you're talking about some tough audiences right there, Roy Wood Jr. Where does performing for Major League Baseball and their players and managers rank for you in terms of difficult audiences? Because the
all MLB Awards show.
Yes, sir.
Last year.
Yes, sir.
It was difficult but fun.
Yes.
But difficult because I was doing crowd work with Bartolo Colon. And halfway through the bit, I went, oh my God, he doesn't speak English. Because I'm doing the bit and I'm like, this is funny. What's his problem? Oh yeah, that's all. Oh, anyway, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Ronald Acuna's here. It was a good time. I'd say correspondence dinner is tougher because half the room is set up to hate you. It's just that when you're dealing with rich people, like this, is just baseball, basketball, football is the toughest.
Football's the toughest.
Of all any athletic group to perform in front of them, football is the toughest. Hats off to Keegan-Michael Key and Steve Harvey, who've done the NFL honors.
Yes.
I would argue that is the toughest room in comedy. Tougher than the Oscars, tougher than the Correspondence Dinner, tougher than the Emmys. Ask them. NFL players they're literally been through battle. And then they just sitting there thinking about their non-guaranteed contract. My knee hurts, and I'm just staring at you. And it's. I did a cancer benefit for Torrey Holt's Foundation.
Yes, sir.
In North Carolina.
Yep.
10 years ago. I'm going to date myself. Marshall Faulk was there. Von Miller was there.
Yeah.
Chris Chambers of the Dolphins.
Wow, you are dating yourself. But Marshall likes comedy. Marshall finds it funny.
Okay, now what about the other 200 people in the crowd, Rich? You survive it, but it is by far one of the. I would argue that NFL players are probably the toughest. The only thing tougher than NFL players are college football players because college football players are too cool to laugh, and I think I'm cooler than you. And you're old. I won't say the comedian who did the joke.
Yeah.
But I did. I can't even say the year because then you'll know the comedian.
Okay.
So
this is good.
So when they have the dinner, I could say ESPN. Yes. Okay. So whenever the TV station that is carrying the college football final, there is a dinner for both teams, and they hire comedians to perform for these teams. This happens every year for these teams. That has happened the last decade. I was at one of these dinners and performing, and one of the comedians went on stage and looked at this crowd of kids pre-NIL. He goes, "How's it feel to be the only people in town not making any money off of this?" Crickets. But it was the best joke.
Sometimes those are the best jokes.
But, baseball players they're very laid back. I would argue, I've never done anything with the NHL, but I have got drunk with Dave Bolin once.
Okay, that sounds fun.
And that's my one sample size of interacting with a hockey player.
I think it's a good sample size for how the rest of it would go. I was at a Baseball Writers Association dinner years ago when the Yankees were winning all the World Series in the late 90s, and the entire dais was filled with Yankees because they were all winning the awards for MVP and Cy Young and whatever. Like Jeter was up there, and Clemens was up there, and Steinbrenner was up there, and Joe Torre was up there. And there was a comedian named Bill Sheft who got up there. And he did a few minutes, and the joke was we should send Chuck Knobloch to Cuba so he could overthrow Castro because he had problems being accurate to first base. As a matter of fact, one year he threw over first base and clocked Keith Olbermann's mother in the face, I believe. And that, you want to talk about crickets? But you could see on the right side, the players were on the right side of the dais. They were like trying to stifle their laugh, like Cone and Clemens and Jeter and those guys. And then on the right, Steinbrenner just did not find it funny, and I guess Torrey was looking around to see if he should laugh too. But that was one of the funniest jokes the entire night.
I'm hoping MLB lets me come back this year to do the All MLB Awards show, but it's going to be interesting because on the one hand, you have Shohei Ohtani, you have to celebrate that.
Yes.
But how can you not mention what happened with the White Sox? But how do you do it in a way that's tasteful and respectful? But it is also history. It's history. And you celebrate history with baseball, right?
You do. 120 losses?
You don't shame people for losing. Anything could happen. Every game is,
right.
But I don't know how to, we'll see. We'll see if I probably just talked myself out the gig just now.
I hope not.
But no, I'm going to celebrate Shohei Ohtani. Let me look at the Major League Baseball. It would be an honor to come back and host all MLB 2024. As you make your considerations, we will celebrate Shohei Ohtani, America's greatest immigrant.
So you have the C on your hat.
That's what I'm gonna call them.
Is this the Cubs?
It's the Cubs. It's just one of those alt colors. You know what they do? They take fans like me and then they trick us into buying 9 different hats.
So you're a Cubs fan?
Yeah. I grew up Cubs. My dad did radio shows with Ernie Banks in the 60s and 70s on WVON. And by the time I came along after that and we moved to Birmingham, the Cubs were just white noise in the house on a regular afternoon in the summer. And so that's just what I kind of fell into. Even though the Braves came on at night, like everybody figures, oh, you're in Birmingham, why didn't you root for the Braves? I'm like, yeah, but the Braves sucked in the 80s, and nobody wants to acknowledge for the legacy that Bobby Cox built. In the 80s, the Cubs were statistically the better team. Playoffs 84, playoffs 89, Dawson MVP 87.
Yeah.
So they were a fun team to watch. They had Jerome Walton and Dwight Smith. They were co-rookies of the year in 89. So they were the fun up-and-coming team. Like, that's what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to be Mark Grace. I wasn't supposed to be sitting here with your ass. I'm supposed to be at Cubs convention.
I bet.
In January.
Mark Grace, man. He was great. Sandberg, all those guys.
Yeah, then I got to college and realized I couldn't hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Like, there is something about playing baseball at schools that don't take it seriously, that is a detriment. I did not know this. Also did not know that you were supposed to travel to play baseball really well. You're supposed to play it all year.
Yeah.
I was seasonal because my mama was broke. In the summer, I did not travel and do high school camps over at UAB. I was at Golden Corral stealing chicken wings. So my athletics suffered as a result of that.
Well, you're looking. This is why I'm sitting here. Is because I didn't have the athletic prowess to I realized early on. I needed to talk about it.
Was there a moment? Well,
age 3. No, I'm just kidding.
Like an exact moment where
right?
Oh, I'm never going to be good at this.
Is there an exact moment? Probably when I wound up suing the New York City public school system for negligently putting me out on some wet turf and breaking my wrist for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But everything went through the court system, and years later, 15 years later, I got a check for $1,000. Came in very handy.
That's it.
Yeah, man.
That's it. That'll cover the copay.
That's to cover the copay. Exactly right. But now here I am talking to you.
Check swing, Rickwood Field, sophomore year, Ramsey High School. Ball rolled back to the mound. I thought it hit the knob of the bat, and I ran it all the way out.
Yeah.
Pulled my hammy, was thrown out, only to look and realize that the ball never hit the bat. It hit my wrist.
Oh,
and on a check swing, it was a hit by pitch. I had indentations on my wrist. Yeah. I go to the ump. I go, ump, it hit me. He go, boy, you wasn't going to do nothing the next pitch. Go on back, sit down. Just under his breath, the ump tells me, you ain't nothing. You ain't going to never be nothing. Let's just not do this. Go sit down. And I agreed. I was just like, yeah, you're right. Let me just go on and sit down.
And now you're doing some comedy bits with Bartolo Colon. Look at you, Roy Wood Jr. Have I got news for you? Airs Saturdays, 9 Eastern on CNN. Available the next day on Max, which you could get right here on the Roku portal. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.